Good morning and welcome to Peace Out, where we are all learning together to peace out. We're working on it every single day. Why? Because we got to find His peace every day, right? It's not like it goes anywhere, but we got so many things going through our mind and our heart and dealing with so many different things every single day that we have to find ourselves back looking for and finding ourselves and wrapping ourselves in His peace, right? It ain't go anywhere, but boy, did my mind take a trip from yesterday at 8 o'clock to 8 o'clock today, right? That 24 hours was a full 24 hours for me, for most of us, right? And so it's always about coming back to His peace. It's just getting back there and getting our minds focused and giving ourselves a scripture to hold on to or a thought to hold on to for the day so that we can keep ourselves in that peace that He provided all those years ago, right? So we're looking at another miracle this morning. And this is a very interesting story. And it's in John also. It's in John chapter 5. And it's the pool of Bethesda. And the King James says the angel would come and trouble the water or stir up the water. And when it was troubled, when the water was all stirred up, that's what the New Living says, then whoever got in the water was healed. Now, we can argue, we're not going to, but we could argue, was it God? Was it not? Well, I'll make this one little argument. The devil ain't never, that's good English here. That's serious English. The devil ain't never interested in our healing. He's never interested in us having peace. He's never interested in us having hope. And he wants to disturb those things and get our mind off of what God has given us. Right? And then that's why if he could distract us from the peace that God gave us, the peace doesn't go anywhere. We just don't get the benefit of it. So he's never for us having peace. So I just have to say it was probably the angel of God that troubled the water. Why? I got nothing. Why did he only do it ever so often? I got nothing. How it worked, I don't know. I will say this. It had 5 covered porches, and I'm going to take this verse down to the office and say, we need at least 1 covered porch at our pool, okay? But I'm just kidding. Anyway, so when they got in the troubled water, they were well. So Jesus walks in, and it says there's so many points in this little passage, right? But Jesus walks in down to the pool of Bethesda, and it says there was crowds, not just a crowd. It says crowds of sick people, blind, lame, paralyzed, laying on all those porches. They were sick. They probably had, who knows, maybe they had tumors, maybe they had cancer, maybe they had fallen and broken a limb, and back then they couldn't fix things surgically. They were maimed. They were not whole physically. They were looking for something, right? But it says there were crowds of people there. And Jesus walked in. It says one of the men laying there had been sick for 38 years. He had been sick for 38 years. And it says when Jesus saw him. Where have we heard that phrase before? The last 2 days we've talked about miracles, and Jesus saw them. Maybe 3 days. I don't know how long we've been doing this, right? But it says when Jesus saw that person. Among that crowd, Jesus focused on this one man. Why? I don't know, but that's how it happened, right? And Jesus asked him this funny question. Do you want to get well? Well, I'm kind of like, well, he's there, ain't he? Right? He's there. He's at the right place. He's in the right position. And Jesus says, do you want to get well? And the guy says this, I can't, sir. I don't know. That wasn't the question. He didn't say, can you? He said, do you want to get well? And you know what? Sometimes when we're asking questions about God's peace and we're saying, do you want to peace out? We say, I can't. And the answer should be yes or no. Do you want to get well? Well, I can't, because we go off on this big discourse of philosophizing things, right? And slicing things up and come up with a can't instead of a yes, I do want to. See, his actions would lead me to believe that he did want to. Why? Listen to this. He says this, I have no one to help me get in the pool when the water is stirred up or troubled, is the old King James way, right? While I am trying to get there, he says, someone else gets ahead of me. So there's several points, because a lot of people, I've heard a lot of teachings that said this guy didn't have any faith. He had an excuse. He they really blast him on the faith side of things. But I'm like, okay, first off, he was there. He didn't have somebody drop him somewhere else and go, oh, well, just don't take me back. There's no hope. He was there. He was present. So he had at least a glimmer of hope because he stayed there. He could have been anywhere else, right? And he had people lay him there. So he stayed there. That lets me know he had some hope. And sometimes just staying in the Word lets us know we do have hope. We do have hope. Sometimes we want to condemn ourselves and say, well, I don't have hope. I don't have peace. I don't have faith. But he had something. And God can work with something, right? And then it says, I have no one to help me. But it says, I wrote my notes at the bottom. He stayed, he showed up, and he kept trying because he says, while I am trying. So it wasn't just laying there defeated going, oh, well, I guess I'll just die. No, he was actually trying, but he wasn't fast enough. But he was trying. I love that. He was there, he was hopeful, and he kept trying even though he felt defeated, even though he didn't have peace, even though he didn't feel like there was for sure an answer. He wasn't sure he could ever make it to the water, but he was still there. And sometimes our pursuit of God and our pursuit of peace feels that way. It's just right over there, but I'm going to stay here. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep reaching for God's peace. I'm going to keep meditating on His Word. I'm going to keep reading His Word. I'm going to keep studying it. I'm going to keep looking toward Him. And our answers will come. We stay in the game and we keep trying. But then there's more, right? Jesus said, stand up, pick up your sleeping mat, and walk. And it says, instantly, the man was healed. He's been in this condition for 38 years. Whether that was all of his life or most of his life, who knows? I don't know. We don't know how old he was. But he had been sick for 38 years. Look, I can sit in a chair for 10 minutes. It takes me a little bit of time to get up, right? And it says, instantly, he was healed. And he rolled up the mat and began walking. But the miracle happened on a Sabbath. And here come the Pharisees, right? It happened on the Sabbath. So the Jewish leaders objected. They said to the man who was cured, this dude's been sick for 38 years. They didn't say, whoa, that's awesome. Look at you go. Look what God did for you. Look, you're healed. I would have been so happy for the man, no matter how he got healed. But they weren't happy for the man. They couldn't see the miracle because of the religious thinking, right? They couldn't see the miracle that happened right in front of their eyes because they were so wrapped up in their own blindness, basically, right? A blindness that is only healed by making the right choices. So that means following God, following His Word, reaching out to Him, right? But they missed it. They said to the man who was cured, you can't work on the Sabbath. It's illegal to carry that sleeping mat around. I'm like, really? I bet the dude didn't care. I bet he did not. Did he lay it down? Did he throw it at him? I'll just leave it here. I bet he didn't care. I bet he said, but I'm walking. I'm healed. I'm whole. I'm good to go. And you're going to worry about me carrying a sleeping mat on the wrong day of the week? Who cares? Right? And so it says, he's like, he even said that the man who healed me said to me, pick up my mat and walk. And they was like, who said that? Who told you to do that on the Sabbath? Man, Jesus was breaking all the religious rules. And it says they tried to kill him. They couldn't see the miracle right there in front of their eyes. They couldn't see the love of God because they didn't want to. They wanted to hold on to their tradition. They wanted to hold on to the old way of thinking, and they couldn't see that something brand new was right in front of them. So I got to give this man some kudos, right? Because he stayed there. He kept trying. And when Jesus talked to him, he recognized it. He acted on it, and he was made whole. And here's my prayer today, that we can see Jesus in our midst, that we can see God working in our mess, that we stay present, that we stay focused on his peace, that we stay focused on his word, that we stay focused on what he gives us instead of what tradition has taught us, right? And it's not that all traditions are bad, but these guys couldn't even see. They didn't go, dude, they couldn't see a miracle right in front of them, y'all. This dude was sick. 38 years he's been laying there, laying around. He could not move, and they couldn't even see the miracle. So my prayer for all of us, including myself today, is that we see what God is doing in our midst. That we can lay religion aside, that we can lay our tradition aside. We can even lay our pain aside, and we can lay our expectations aside, so to speak, and just go, God, help me see what you're doing in my life today. And that's when we can peace out, right? So I pray that we all begin to see those little miracles. Maybe it won't be something as dramatic. Maybe it won't be something as big. Maybe it'll just be something as simple as a checking account that's not overdrawn, or our rent that's paid this month, or a friend who calls and offers encouragement. Maybe you'll be the one offering encouragement, right? Who knows? But I just pray that today God will reveal himself to you in your day, just in a normal day at the Pool of Bethesda, right? That's when we're going to peace out. Peace out, you guys. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.